Well, a lot has happened since I signed off the air last evening. As a matter of fact, it happened minutes after I signed off the air. The execution of two young human beings by a terrorist assassin. And I want to read something to you. I want to read to you the criminal complaint that was filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. The charges, the charging document, because you're going to learn some information about this case that you didn't know. Christina Hagenbaugh, duly sworn, in this arrest warrant complaint. Let me silence this phone, which I thought I had, but apparently not. These new iPhones are crazy. All right. Sorry, they're a pain in the you-know-what. I make this affidavit, she writes, in support of a criminal complaint charging Elias Rodriguez with violations of 18 U.S.C. Section 1116, murder of foreign officials, 18 U.S.C. 941J, causing the death of a person through the use of a firearm, 18 U.S.C. 94E 1A triple I, discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, and D.C. Code Section 22-2001, first-degree murder. And so he's charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. My own view is capital murder should result in capital punishment, but that's just me. The facts set forth in this affidavit, based on information I've obtained from my personal involvement in the investigation, and from other law enforcement officers who have been involved in this investigation, on documents that I've reviewed, and on my training and experience where I've reported statements made by others or from documents that I have reviewed. Those statements reported in substance and in part, unless otherwise indicated. I'm a federal law enforcement officer within the meaning of the federal rules. I'm not going to get into that. Government agent engaged in enforcing the criminal laws, duly authorized by the Attorney General to request a search warrant. I've been a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation since September 2016. And it goes on. Probable cause, I'll skip to that. On May 21, 2025, Rodriguez shot and killed 2 individuals outside 575 3rd Street, Northwest Washington, which is the site of the Capitol Jewish Museum. The museum was hosting an event related to Jewish diplomatic and business relations hosted by the American Jewish Committee that aims to, quote, bring together Jewish young professionals and the D.C. diplomatic community. The event was attended by several members of the United States-based Israeli diplomatic mission. On Wednesday, last night, approximately 9:08 p.m., members of the Metropolitan Police Department, 1st District, were dispatched to investigate a shooting at the intersection of 3rd and F Streets, Northwest. Upon the officers arriving at the scene, they observed decedent number 1 and decedent number 2 suffering from gunshot wounds. Decedent number 1, just so you know, they don't mention who she is in the charging document. She's 26 years old, Sarah Milgrim, an American citizen. An American citizen. Decedent number 2 is Yaron Lischinsky, 30 years old, an Israeli citizen. A practicing Christian whose father was Christian and mother was Jewish. And they had moved from Germany to Israel. And Sarah Milgrim was Jewish, her parents were Jewish, and an American citizen. Well, they do mention her here. I apologize. Decedent number 1, identified as Sarah Milgrim, was employed by the Embassy of Israel in Washington. The preliminary review of decedent 1 remains showed that she suffered multiple gunshot wounds to the body. Decedent was transported from the scene by the District of Columbia Fire and Emergency Media Services, Medical Services, to the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner for the District of Columbia. Decedent 1 was pronounced dead at 9:35 p.m. by the medical group under the authority there. The results of the autopsy are still pending. Decedent 2, identified as Yaron Lischinsky, was employed by the Embassy of Israel. He was pronounced deceased by members on the scene under the authority of the medical group there at 9:14 p.m. He remained on the scene during the initial processing and until members of the medical team conducted their preliminary investigation of his remains. I mean, these young people were alive a half hour earlier. Decedent number 2 was an Israeli citizen. According to the Department of State, decedent number 2, based on his official visa, was an official guest to the United States government. This is what I want you to hear. Upon arriving at the scene, Metropolitan Police Department Officer 1 canvassed the area for cameras and observed several affixed to the museum. Officer 1 and his partner, Officer 2, entered the building to inquire about the cameras and identify witnesses. Once inside, Rodriguez asked to speak with the officer. Rodriguez then stated that he did it, quote-unquote, and that he was unarmed. Rodriguez was taken into custody and identified by Illinois driver's license and firearms owner's identification card, that is an Illinois driver's license, as Elias A. Rodriguez of Chicago. Rodriguez spontaneously stated on scene to the MPD, Metropolitan Police Department, "I did it for Palestine, I did it for Gaza, I am unarmed." Rodriguez was holding a red scarf identified by one witness as a keffiyeh. And MPD officers escorting Rodriguez from the museum, he shouted, "Free, free Palestine." On scene, multiple witnesses were identified and interviewed. Witness number 1 stated that witness number 1 was outside the Jewish museum sitting in a car when he saw a male, later identified as Rodriguez, wearing a blue hooded raincoat and backpack attempting to light a cigarette in the rain. Witness 1 found the defendant's behavior strange, and it captured witness 1's attention. Prior to shooting, witness 1 saw 4 people walking out of the Jewish museum, and soon after, witness 1 heard gunshots. Witness 1 ducked down, and after the gunshots eased, looked again. Witness 1 saw that Rodriguez motioning as if he was attempting to shoot the firearm, but it was not firing. Rodriguez then ran away. Witness 1 observed Rodriguez motion with his arm as if he was throwing an object. Witness 1 later explained that police located a firearm in the vicinity of where Witness 1 observed Rodriguez throwing his throwing motion. After the Metropolitan Police MPD arrived, Witness 1 observed police officers walk Rodriguez out of the museum. Witness 1 commented to the police that the person they had in custody was the same guy. Witness 1 observed during the shooting. However, during a subsequent interview, Witness 1 stated Witness 1, was 70% certain that Rodriguez was the same person, but Witness 1 was certain the backpack and the jacket were what the assailant was in fact wearing. Now, here's the intense part. On scene, the Metropolitan Police Department officers were able to review surveillance video from immediately before and during the shooting. They captured the exterior of the museum, so they caught everything on video, everything. In summary, the video shows a slim-built person wearing a blue jacket with a hood, a large, dark-colored backpack, blue pants, and light-colored shoes, consistent with the clothing worn by Rodriguez, walk across F Street Northwest in the direction of the museum, where the decedents were standing, preparing to enter the crosswalk. So these young people, they're done, and they walk out, probably going to walk to their apartment or walk to a cab, whatever. Once Rodriguez walked past the decedents and 2 witnesses, he turned to face their backs. So he walks behind them and then turns toward their backs, brandished a firearm from the area of his waist. Rodriguez is captured on the video extending both of his arms, as you extend them to shoot something, in the direction of the decedents, firing several times. So he shot them in the back, as indicated by the muzzle flashes. Once the decedents fell to the ground, Rodriguez is captured on the video advancing closer to the decedents, leaning over them with his arm extended and firing several more times. They're on the ground, and he shoots them more. As decedent one, this is this 26-year-old young lady, this American citizen. As decedent one attempted to crawl away from Rodriguez, he followed behind her and fired again. After a brief moment, Rodriguez appeared to reload his firearm. At the same time, decedent one, this young girl, sat up. She sat up. Once he reloaded, Rodriguez fired several more times into the decedent, into the girl. Apparently, the young man was dead after he was shot when he hit the ground. But the young lady was crawling away for her life. He shoots her more. He's reloading his pistol. She sits up, and he executes her. Rodriguez is then captured jogging back in the direction of 3rd Street Northwest and southbound in the direction of where the entrance to the museum is located. D.C. Department of Forensic Sciences members responded to the scene. So here's where he goes in. He pretends, he's out of breath, this, that, and the other thing, and so forth and so on, and then he confesses. According to airline records provided by United Airlines, on May 20th, that would be the day before yesterday, he flew from Chicago O'Hare Airport in Illinois to Reagan National Airport in Virginia. Additionally, according to records provided by United, Rodriguez declared and flew with a firearm in his checked bag. Thus, Rodriguez crossed state lines with a firearm. Based on facts described above, there's probable cause. Now, that's interesting. He declared, additionally, according to records provided by the United Airlines, he declared and flew with a firearm in his checked bag. All right, so then he accessed it legally and so forth. That's pretty rough, isn't it, Mr. Producer? She's crawling away, and he keeps shooting her. Then she sits up, and he kills her, executes her. And the young man obviously didn't know what hit him. He's shot from behind, you see.